Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, vitiligo is a skin condition that can affect the skin on any part of your body. It occurs when the cells that produce melanin die or stop functioning, and it affects people of all skin types. The condition is not life-threatening or contagious, but because of numerous misconceptions still present in large parts of the world, we have brought in Dr. Dilshad Asmal to help us understand the condition a little bit better. So I know I gave like a very brief explanation on what it is, but if you could kind of flesh out for us, what exactly, especially if we're learning about it for the first time, what exactly is vitiligo?
Vitiligo is basically a loss of pigment in the cells. So the pigment is produced by cells called melanocytes, which I'd call brown cells, and the amount of pigment they have determines our color. So what happens in vitiligo, we have what I call an autoimmune response. That means the body recognizes the melanocytes as not being its own, an alien. So it causes destruction of the melanocytes. And as you mentioned, less than 1% of the population can be affected with vitiligo. I think it's also important to know that as it's an autoimmune disease where the body fights itself, there can also be other disease associations like thyroid disease, vitamin B12 disease, and a hair loss called alopecia areata. And let's not forget that vitiligo can be genetic.
Yes.
So it's a whole host of connected little dots that we have to think about when we see a patient with vitiligo.
Who is susceptible to getting vitiligo?
Basically, it has no predilection in terms of race or age. You know, age to a degree, they talk around 20 and younger, but again, it can happen at any age. So it's not, oh gosh, it's going to happen because this is my time in life.
Are people born with vitiligo, or when would they start to discover signs?
Some people are born with vitiligo, that's a known fact. And I think when the signs will be discovered is, especially in a darker skin, right, you're able to see the distinct color change between the brown normal skin and the white. And in my whiter patients, when they tan in summer, right, you'll see the normal skin tanning and the white being more accentuated.
Okay.
So it's more seen.
Yeah. Now, are there any other kind of symptoms? Like, do you feel it happening to you?
No, there is no sensation or anything like that. It's a procedure, a process that just happens, you know, with your brown cells of your body. And there's no warning sign to say, oh, you will be getting vitiligo.
Like, can it just be like one day you're in the sun and then the next day you start noticing little spots, or is it quite a sudden change?
Well, every patient is an individual. Some people will have rapid onset of disease, while others it can be slow with time. So, you know, to answer that question is extremely difficult.
Yeah. Are there any ways of treating it, and can you prevent it?
Vitiligo, unfortunately, there's no prevention.
Yeah.
I think what's important for a person to know is that they need to embrace the disease because it becomes part of themselves. So, you know, we have good role models. Vitiligo, Winnie Harlow, the model, right? And they've all embraced vitiligo. So treatment options can be topical steroids, topical steroid sparers, that means cream that don't have steroids. We can look at light therapy, right? Narrowband UVB therapy, and also there's a type of laser called eczema laser. But, you know, there is no magic cure for vitiligo at all.
How effective are those treatments?
Again, it's an individualistic response. Some patients respond beautifully. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't respond at all.
Really?
And, you know, when you're looking at people talk about skin grafts, taking skin, that's not practical at all.
No.
You know, in terms of the forerunners of vitiligo, we're looking at the Indians and the Germans, you know, who are trying to find cures. So surgery, I would say, is not really an option.
Okay. But it is livable. You don't have to be medicated, you know, to live with vitiligo.
No, not at all. And again, I come to embracing the disease. Because you have it, basically you have to own it. Because it's going to be part of your life. And it's there for a long period of time. Some people may have response to therapy where they repigment, but it doesn't happen very often, and I think you need to mentally prepare yourself for that.
When you get patients coming into your office, how do you treat them? And I mean, what do you say to them? Because I suppose that, you know, it's a physical thing as well, but I think it's quite a mental, psychological thing to deal with as well.
Definitely. I think that, you know, you feel that there's something wrong with you, and you feel that when you go outside, everyone looks at you because you have multicolors.
Yeah.
And it is psychologically debilitating.
Yeah.
Anyone's going to feel, you know, not great about that. And you actually have to tell them that, you know, there is help out there. We do have a South African Vitiligo Association. You know, we can do trials of therapy, but I think also it's important for the patients to know that there is no magic wand.
Yeah.
That, you know, you have to be realistic about your treatment expectations.
Yeah. And I suppose if you have to look at Boitumelo and somebody like Winnie Harlow, the embracing it is almost, it's so beautiful, actually.
Exactly.
What advice would you give to people who are experiencing a change and are developing vitiligo?
I think if you're young, it's actually very, very hard because of how your peers look, and appearance is the big thing in their lives these days. And it actually takes them, I think, far longer to really accept their disease.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, it's a shallow world out there. Life is so superficial. So by the time they fully and utterly accept it, they're in their 20s, 30s. But initially, it must be absolutely heartbreaking to know you have vitiligo.
Yeah, and we've done so many shows on redefining beauty and how you see beauty. And I think, you know, your advice is also just helping with that as well. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to chat to you a little bit later.
Thank you.